Well, hi guys. We're here today with Brian from Getting After, right?
Yep.
He's got a YouTube channel, Getting After It. You guys should check him out. We're here today. I drove over to his camp on the west side of the state. So here we are.
Here we are finally.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time.
We have.
So Brian's a fellow, he's into bow hunting big time. You check out some of his videos, you'll see what I mean. He's quite the bow hunter. So, how long have you owned your camp that you have here?
This place here, about 7 years now.
7
I've
years?
Had this place.
Yeah.
It's changed over 7 years. Like I say, when I first bought it, it was just a garage.
Garage.
So then from there, I poured the cement slabs. So I had them for a couple years. Then I put the lean-to onto it. Then I just got the 2 rooms put on the other side, and the bathroom and the shower and all that.
But you hunted up here before you had this, so.
So I had 10 acres around the corner that I just put my camper on that all the time. And then a guy had this part next to me, bought the other part. So I was sandwiched in between his 2 pieces of property, and he hunts also. So he was just guarding my 10 acres. So I just asked him, you want to buy this? And he says, yeah, I'd like to have it all. So I ended up selling that to him. And then
got this.
Came over and got this, yeah.
And you do a lot of hunting downstate from where you live over by Mesquite, and you do a lot of hunting down there.
I did growing up.
To.
I don't hunt down there as much anymore. I usually just come up here, but that's where I learned was in Mesquite and out there.
Now, what would you say? You know, we don't want to get political here, but do you think there's just more deer today as there was 15, 20 years ago?
Not even close.
No.
Way more deer back then.
Yeah.
Way more. And I don't get involved into that stuff. I don't. I just know what I know.
Mm-hmm. And I hear you.
You know, like I said, I don't gun hunt as much anymore as I used to. You don't see the deer. You know,
No.
you hunt the first 2 days. After that, you might not see deer. You know, where when I was younger, you'd see 30, 40 deer a day. It was nothing to see that many deer. They're just not there. There's not as many deer around. There's not.
You know, back in the day too, nobody wanted to shoot the does. The older hunters it was against the law in their eyes to shoot a doe.
Yeah, you didn't shoot does.
You know, and now they're pushing that they want you to kill more does. I think in certain parts of the state there may be more deer, but like where I live in St. Clair County, I don't think there's as many deer as the state says there is. And now they're coming out with these new regulations and stuff for all these extra doe hunts, and I don't care what kind of regulations you got for the UP until something's done with the dogs up there. There ain't gonna be no deer.
No.
And you're not, you know, down here you just be lucky. All you're dealing with is coyotes and a bear here and there, but up there, the wolves are number one.
Yeah, I had coyotes right on the other side of those train tracks last night. We were sitting by the fire. They were howling right there. And there's always been a bunch of coyotes around here. Mm-hmm. Always. I don't think they do nothing to the deer herd like wolves do. I mean, it's not even close.
No.
It's not even close.
Now, do you got bobcat running around here?
Yeah. I've seen some bobcats while I was deer hunting, and you'll see guys trap them, stuff like that. You don't see them as often. Mm-hmm. You know, but bobcat's pretty nocturnal. Yeah, so you don't see them. I think I've seen 2 over the years deer hunting up here. I've seen 2 bobcats. So.
Is there a lot of bear up here?
It's getting more. It's getting more. My neighbor here, he's up here. He lives here, you know, so he's here all the time. He sees them all the time, coming to his feeders and stuff. And I've started to see him. This year I have not seen a bear, but in the last 4 years prior to, I've seen a bear every year. Before that, I didn't see a deer for 20 years. Or a bear, I mean. I didn't see one for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know? Now you see them like every year. You see
just walking through the yard.
Yeah. They just come out. And,
you know, I think that's another thing too. They say there's an abundance of bears, but yet they're handing out less tags. And down in this part, you got to have so many points to even get a tag.
It's at least 8 years. It might be 10 years that you put in to draw a bear tag to hunt this area. So I got 2 bear points. I just started putting in because my son-in-law go, you know. So I started putting in for that. Other than that, I'm not waiting 10 years to shoot a bear. I'm just not going to do it. So I never put in for the points, you know.
Now you mentioned in some of your videos you go out of state a lot to hunt.
I do. I do.
And you've been to what, Colorado?
Colorado, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, and went way back young, Oklahoma, but that was coyote and turkey hunting. That was when I was real young.
Now, okay, let's take Missouri versus Michigan. What do you see different?
Oh, night and day.
Okay.
I can go down to Missouri and go bow hunting, and you might never see a guy down there bow hunting. You might,
Oh.
if you go at the right time. Now, if you go the first week of November, yeah, you're going to see guys. The bulk of them will be from out of state. They won't be Missouri deer hunters. Missouri guys
Probably
gun
all from
hunt.
Michigan.
Well, they gun hunt. They don't bow hunt. You know, there are some. Don't get me wrong. They're bow hunters in Missouri, but it's nothing like it is here. It's just nothing like it is here. The deer down there are not as spooked as they are here. Here they come through looking up in the trees. In Missouri, you can move around up in the tree. You can do pretty much anything you want. Them deer don't even know you're there.
Now, what about, you say you hunted Iowa. What's that like hunting Iowa?
Hunted Iowa twice. I hunted it last year, actually, and I shot a buck there last year. The first time we went down there during the summer and knocked on doors and got permission. And we were like, this is awesome. It was like 500 acres. Guy gave us permission to hunt for free. Didn't have to pay him, just get a deer, you know. When we got down there, he tells everybody that. So there are a bunch of guys on his property. You know, he don't charge nobody, but he lets everybody. And so we did.
So you weren't the only ones there.
We were not the only ones there. But we both ended up killing the deer. My buddy Jeff shot a 165-inch deer. That thing was huge. And then I shot a smaller. Matter of fact, it's in there. I shot a smaller 10-point there. Hunting was pretty good, but we were hunting private. Okay, we were hunting private.
Now, you got to have a point system
Yes,
for
and
Iowa too?
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. So this last year when I went, I hunted all state land, and I shot a deer, and I saw quite a few deer. I saw a bunch of people down there, but we went in that in the first week of November. You know, the point system now is $65 a point, and the area that I went to, which is Zone 5, it was 4 years. And it took us 5. So I paid at that point it was $62 a point. So I paid over $300 for my points. Then when you get your license, it's like $600 and some odd dollars. But they make you buy a doe tag too. You don't have a choice. That's $125. So that $650 just became $775. Plus your $300. You're $1,000 in before you even leave your driveway. You're $1,000 in. So
Every year you apply, you have to pay $62 or $65 or
yep,
whatever.
$65
just
to
to
keep your
apply
point.
for a point.
Yep, just to apply, and then you keep your point. So I'm done hunting Iowa. I'm not going to go back. It's too expensive for me. You know, for the deer I shot, and I was hunting close to the Missouri border. The deer I shot, I could have went 30 miles south into Missouri and shot that same deer for $265. You know,
Gotcha.
so it's not worth it to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I love to shoot white-tailed deer. I do. Because of that, and because I do pretty good, I don't value that as much as some guys that don't. Mm-hmm. You know, to be able to shoot a 10-point. Some guys go crazy just to be able to shoot a 10-point. You know, to me, yeah, I love to shoot big deer. I do. I'm not going to pay $1,000 to do it. I'm sure as heck not going to pay an outfitter $3,000 to do it. You know, I'm just not going to do it. So I'll go hunt state land and shoot a smaller 8-point before I'll go shoot a 140-inch 10-point.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to spend that kind of money.
I think it never used to be like that years ago, was it? Or was it
No.
always like that?
No, the first time we went, it took 3 points. So with 3 points, you were guaranteed to draw for the same spot. Now it's 5. So they're getting an extra $130 out of you just in delaying them 2 years for you to draw your tag.
Okay.
So, and I think more guys are putting in or whatever else. But to me, I don't know. It just ain't.
Now,
it ain't worth it.
You were saying too, you hunted elk in Colorado, and you were saying they make you buy a small game license now?
Yeah, now it's a point system now out there, and it's in order to apply for a point, instead of just charging you $65 like they make you buy a small game tag. Small game tag's $125, I think it was. But you got to buy that just to get the point. So
wow.
Yeah, and like I said, the area I go to, I think they just make you buy that thing to get an extra $125 out of you instead of selling it to you over the counter. I think everybody that applies there gets a tag. So.
Both for Colorado?
I think so. The zone that I went to, I believe if you apply, you're going to get a tag.
Now, did you ever hunt in Ohio?
No. I've had some buddies go. They say it's really nice down there and they do really well. I just have never gone. I've been going to Missouri for about 15 years now. And I fell in love with Missouri, so when I go out of state, I go there.
To Missouri.
You know, and when you find a good spot, it's hard to leave to go to another spot during the rut. So I'd always go down to Missouri. I was the 6th, 7th, and 8th of November. Those are the 3 days that I want to be there. So if I'm going to go on a hunt, I'm going there because I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing, and I know I can get one.
Because you've been there.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to leave and go to Ohio during the rut when I have Missouri sitting right there. So,
and you say you're going this year too?
I'm going to Missouri this year, yeah. I'm going to go Missouri and Minnesota. I'm thinking about trying Indiana. Thinking about it. So that's over the counter too.
I have never heard much about Indiana.
No, me neither. Me neither. I can't believe it's much different than here though. And their tag's not insanely outrageous. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's not $700.
But you've also hunted out in Minnesota too, right?
Yeah, one time. So I went out there. I was there for 3 days. Met my cousin over there. He lives over there. And I had a buck close. He needed about 3 or 4 more yards, and I would have shot him. But I just didn't have the time. You know, I was there for 3 days.
Yeah.
So by the time I really kind of started figuring them out, yeah, I had to leave and come back. So, but I'm going to go back this year, and I'm going to try to.
Now, did you in Minnesota? Were you in what part of the state were you in?
Southeast.
So they don't have no dogs down there, do they? They're all up in the northern part.
Yeah, there wasn't any. No, there was none down there.
Because I've heard Minnesota, the southwest part of Minnesota, is pretty good because there's that in Wisconsin. There's no wolves down there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it was pretty good hunting in there. It really was. You'd look at it. Their state land had all kinds of ag fields, so there was corn and beans everywhere with plots of woods. And I'm going to go back, like I said, and I'm going to spend a little more time. But there is no doubt in my mind, if I had 2 weeks over there, I'd kill a deer. I'd kill a deer over there. So.
Yeah, because you first time there, you didn't know.
I didn't know nothing.
You didn't know anything about where they're traveling or what they're doing, or because everybody thinks of Minnesota and Wisconsin, they all think the wolves. But like I said, I've heard reports from other YouTube guys that there's no wolves in the southern part of the state.
Yeah, we didn't run into anything like that. And my cousin, he lives 4 hours north. So he said
he goes south.
He goes south to go hunting because he said yes, the wolves are up there and there ain't even no sense.
Yeah, because I've seen there's a YouTube guy out there that I follow that he hasn't seen any deer at his cabin in a couple of years now.
Right.
Because he said they're just all loaded with wolf tracks.
They wipe them out. Those wolves wipe them out, and people don't understand that. A wolf will go over there and kill a deer just to show the younger wolf how to do it. They're not necessarily going to eat it. They're just going to kill it, just to train. Yeah. So they'll kill things just to kill them. They don't kill them just because they're hungry and want to eat.
And they'll kill a bear too. They go after their some tendon in their back leg.
Yeah.
And then
they bleed out.
So they're the king of the woods, and just be thankful that you're not dealing with them in this part of the state like we are up there. But. It is what it is. This will be 40 years up there this year for me, and I just go make the best of it.
Yeah.
There are deer, don't get me wrong, there are deer, but it's gonna be a little harder.
And I think that's what makes it harder to get the younger kids going.
Yeah.
The attention span over the last 30 years has shrunk tremendously. You used to be able to sit down and watch a 2.5 hour movie. Now you sit down and watch 2 hours. Somewhere in that 2.5 hours, you're going to go like this.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the attention span just isn't there. So for kids to sit in the woods and not see any deer for 3, 4, 5 hunts, they'll lose interest like that.
Just like taking them fishing. If they don't catch your fish within 10 minutes, they're done.
They're ready to go home.
There's nobody replacing, just in my opinion, in Michigan anyway, there's nobody replacing the old veteran hunter that can't go no more or who's deceased.
Yeah.
And and it's showing in our licenses 500 and some thousand last year were sold, and the state's even admitted that we're selling less licenses. Okay, but you take back when you first started and I first started, 750,000 rifle tags just for November.
Right.
Alone.
Just rifle.
Just rifle hunting.
Yeah.
That didn't include archery.
Right.
And now you're combining them and you're not even hitting 600,000.
Right.
So, and I do know that there are guys that are fed up, they're done with the state, and they're going Illinois, Ohio, Missouri.
I know a few guys.
And they're done with Michigan.
Yep. I know a few guys that do that.
And it's a shame that it's come down to this, because the good old days of hunting deer in Michigan are over with.
Yeah, you know, I went through a time where when I first started going to Missouri, Michigan's terrible. It is terrible. I would go to Missouri every day of the week, twice on Sunday over state of Michigan. I've kind of gone full circle, okay? I love hunting the state of Michigan. I love Michigan. I love coming here and hunting them. I love the fact that we're a $2 state. A lot of people don't like that. I do. A lot of times I don't use my second buck tag, but it keeps me legal so I can continue to go hunting, you know, so I can continue to go. So I like it because of that. I wish they didn't. I wish they didn't include gun in that.
Exactly.
So like you can go kill 2 bucks with your gun. I don't know if I necessarily like that. If they went 1 buck with your bow and 1 buck with your gun, like I would be fine with that.
Yeah, get back to the old archer tag and get rid of this base license.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, because a lot of guys don't small game hunt, and that's what that base license is for.
Right.
You can't even apply for any tags or any permits if you don't have a base license yet.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It's just that I think with the regulations we got, and there's no recruitment coming up. There's no young. They don't have interest.
No, I know. So like my son, he goes a little bit, not crazy amount, but he goes a little bit. The cost of the license has gone up so much that,
Yeah.
and it's not a lot. It's money, but it used to be like $10.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, it was like $10 for a tag. It might have been less. I don't
Doe
know.
permits used to be $5.
$5, yeah.
And you had to apply for it and got it in the mail.
So they're selling less licenses, so there's less revenue. So then they boost the price of it to make up the revenue. But then the new guys don't want to pay that price to start out to something that they've never done. They're just going to try it out.
Yeah.
They don't want to spend that money.
No. You know, and then they're getting, you can, in some parts of the state, you can kill 12 deer.
Yeah.
I mean, really? I
don't know what you'd do with 12 of them.
No.
Because I could shoot 12 deer if I wanted to. There's no doubt in my mind I could do it. I still have deer in my freezer from last year. You know, if I shot 12 deer, I don't know what I would do.
They go to waste.
They'd go to waste for sure. They would.
You know,
They would.
but it's just, we're I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year with all the new regulations. I just think.
So let's go over those a little bit. You're more into it than what I am.
Yeah.
So the only one I know of is the youth hunt. You know, doe only.
Well, that's supposed to start in 2025.
Oh, so next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
that and the Liberty hunt. They're supposed to 2025. They're only allowed to shoot does. Okay. Supposedly now the early antlerless season that starts in September, and the late antlerless season that started in December. Those hunts used to be just private land. Now it's going to be statewide, except for the Upper Peninsula. So now I think it's September 18th or something that says the early, you can go out and kill a doe legally. And now, like I said, it was always just on private land. Now it's state land and private, along with the late hunt. And then supposedly in January of 2025, or I don't know if it's this January coming up or the following January, they're going to have an all doe hunt for the whole month of January, where you're going to have to buy a separate tag for it.
Use your gun.
Yeah.
You can use your gun.
So, and then muzzle loading, supposedly the whole southern part of the state, from the way I read it, from like the bridge south, you can use a shotgun or a muzzle loader. They kept the rule in the UP where in December you can't use a crossbow during the late archery hunt. You got to use a regular bow. They tried to bring back baiting for the lower. That didn't pass this year, but it's still on the table to come, maybe next year or the year after. Now, when I say next year, I don't mean this fall. I mean
Yeah, I get
next
you.
fall.
How many tickets do you think they write out for baiting?
They said it's so hard to enforce. They can't.
Right.
I mean, they'll do it, but they're relying on
Somebody's got to tell on somebody.
exactly.
Somebody's got to tell.
That's
on
what they're relying on.
Yeah.
But however, you know, yes, we can bait in the UP, okay. But down here, if somebody's baiting, what's the difference if they're baiting or hunting in corn, beans,
Yeah, right.
or a food plot?
Right.
You know, and they say the deer lick each other. The deer lick each other
They do that anyway.
365 days a year.
Yep.
And they're worried about spreading diseases. Well, they're already interacting with each other all year round, you know. But so them are some of the changes, and it's basically they want to kill as many doses to get. And my personal opinion is, I think this is a big push from the insurance companies.
Think so?
Yeah, I really do, because like I was telling you, I drive a lot throughout the whole state, and you don't see the deer in these fields in the evening or mornings like you used to see them.
There's fewer deer.
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of study. I'm telling you, from a guy that's hunted
Yeah.
from 1984 till now, there's less deer.
Yeah.
There's less deer.
I mean, maybe in Jackson County and down in southern Michigan, there are more deer. I can't say that because I've never hunted there.
A lot of private.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of private. And that's another thing they're talking about, was getting more access to hunters. You know, and then they also talked about going to the one buck rule didn't pass, so it's still two.
It's still two.
And the APRs, a lot of people were for getting rid of them, but that didn't pass.
So they stayed.
So the APRs, like a combo tag, is 3 on one side. That stayed. And whatever, there's other parts of the state, I think, not too far from here, they got to have 4 on one side, your first one.
I don't.
I
know
there's
this is 3.
I know there's a few counties that are, I think
That are
it's
4? Okay. I didn't even know that.
What county is Big Rapids College in? Mecosta?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
I think that area over there, I think they have to have 4 on one side, and it might be even Chip or where's Mount Pleasant in? What county is that? Isabella?
Yep.
I think that's a 4. I could be wrong, but I know there's a couple counties.
I never heard of that.
Couple areas that have to have 4. Heck, I can remember back in the early '90s, you could kill 4 bucks in a season. Do you remember that?
What was it? 2 with your gun, 2 with your bow?
Yeah, you could kill 4 bucks in one season.
Yeah.
And that lasted for like 2 years. You know.
Well, you know, if somebody came to me and said, "Here's this tag, you can kill 4 bucks," I'm gonna kill 4 bucks. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, if they changed that to 1 buck, I mean, I'm just one hunter.
That's where
It would change everything.
Yeah. Well, see, what would happen is my opinion is, go back. You go to the store and you buy your archery tag. You get to kill 1 buck with that. You go to the store and buy your rifle tag. You can kill 1 buck with it.
Yeah.
So, and the guy at work argued with me. He said, "Well, what's the difference?" I said,
It's
"Well,
a big difference.
a lot of guys don't bow hunt.
Yep.
And a lot of guys don't gun hunt. So you're going to get your gun hunters getting, killing their 2 bucks."
Right.
He said, "Well, that wouldn't make any sense." I said, "Well, it worked that way for years until they went to this combination thing."
Yeah.
And I think have that, then you would know exactly how many guys are out there with archery equipment and how many guys are out there with guns.
Yeah.
Because like I said, back in the 80s, up until they did this thing where they combined them, it was 750,000 just gun hunters.
Yeah.
And now you're not even selling 600,000 with the licenses combined. And granted, the guys that are retired or pass away or can't get out in the woods no more, they're not hunting, and there ain't nobody replacing them.
Right.
Right. I mean, thank God your son hunts, and my son still has interest in it. Is he 100% into it like I am? No.
Same with my son.
You know,
So,
but
yeah.
will he do all? Will he go the extra mile and scout and do this and do that? No.
No.
He relies on me.
Right, that's same with my son.
You know, because they've never once scouted our area up at the UP. No. They've never once ventured off. If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't know where to go.
Right.
You know, and I'm not saying that I can't get lost up there, but I'd have a hard time getting lost.
Right.
Because, you know, you learn a lot in 40 years.
Yeah, it's kind of the way I am around here. You know, there's certain sets of woods that I could go to, and I'm good. The property that I hunted when I was a kid, I could go out there right now and walk around that and be fine. There's guys that stayed the night out there, you know, down in that swamp. But you just get to learn the woods.
Yep.
You get to learn the woods.
Landmarks.
When we were younger, you didn't have Onyx. You weren't
Nope.
watching your phone to get out of the woods. You had a compass.
Yep.
And you better trust it.
Yep.
and you know, we always called it turned around. I'm not lost. I'm turned
Turned around.
Yeah, I know where I'm at. I'm just turned around a little bit.
But there are parts of the Upper Peninsula you could get turned around and walk for miles.
Them are big woods up there. Colorado's like that too.
Yep.
Same deal. You get lost out there, you're lost.
Yeah. You
You're
might as well just stay where you are and make sure you brought something to build a fire. And,
Get you a fire and stay the night.
yep.
So
Because you're not going to get found.
Nope.
You know, you keep going, you're just making matters worse.
You're gonna get hurt. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna
You
go
know.
further away from where you need to be. Just sit down, stay where you're at.
Yeah. So no, there's just a lot of changes coming, and I don't know. I just hope and pray one day the state goes back to being a great. Because now, in my feelings is you need a friggin' degree. You might as well bring the law book with you in the woods.
And you still wouldn't understand.
No, and another thing too is that this was brought up. See, I don't know if you knew, but they started this deer management incentive thing, where you had to apply for it to get on this board. It was a board that helped the NRC out, because the NRC in this state's the one that draws up all the rules.
Right.
And they're appointed by our governor. Okay, well, this DMI thing that they started was a group of people that recommended this, recommended that, recommended. That's raw. This is the first year. They only took, I don't know, 10 people at that, and thousands. I wasn't overly qualified, but there were thousands of qualified guys that didn't get picked to be on this board. So I don't know if they handpicked, you know.
Yeah, right. So
But
they can put their own people in there and get what they want.
Exactly. You know, and they came up with all these things, you know, and then they had recommendations from us. They had a survey, or they had a questionnaire thing come out, but did they follow it? No.
Well, that was my other question was, okay, so they got this group of people to make suggestions. Do they actually do what's suggested?
A few of the things, I guess the biggest push in this whole agenda was they need to kill more does. That was the big push. Now, where are they getting this from? How many deer? And, you know, like I said, there could be a lot of deer in certain parts of the state, but there isn't as many statewide deer as they say there is.
Last year, a matter of fact, I think I said it on one of the videos, opening day of gun season, I didn't see a deer. And that was the first time. There were a few years that I didn't go gun hunting. Every year that I've ever gone, other than last year, I've at least seen a deer. Last year on opening day, I did not see a deer.
Wow. No, it's bad. I don't know where we're headed with killing all these does. What's that gonna do? You know, and then I'm not against the trophy hunter, but yet again, APRs, at least for the Upper Peninsula, I think are a bad thing. Because if you got a legal buck up there, you should be allowed to shoot it, you know, before the wolves get it. Or any other predator
So
out there.
I have issues with the government telling me what I can and can't shoot.
Can't shoot.
I have enough trouble with them telling me how much money I got to pay to do it. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of APRs. Now I like to shoot big deer. There's no doubt about that. I like to do it.
But you don't need to be told you can't.
I don't need to be told. So I was trying to hunt big deer before APRs even came in. Okay. Now I will say this: since they've been here, I've seen bigger deer. I have seen bigger deer. Does that mean that, hey, this is great, this is wonderful? maybe yes, maybe no. You know,
Hmm.
this guy right here that works 6 days a week and has Sunday to hunt, he gets out there, maybe it's raining, maybe it's a crappy day on Sunday. You only get so many in October. You tell me that guy can't shoot a deer because the government says you got to wait until it's got 4 points on the side or whatever?
Yep.
And then, not only, have you ever tried to count them antlers when they're chasing a doe through the woods? It ain't easy.
No.
You're sitting there trying to figure out what's what, and before you know it, it's gone.
Yep.
So, I'm not a huge fan of the APRs. Like I said, I like to shoot big deer, so it does kind of go into what I want to do, but I don't think it's right. I just don't think it's right.
I mean, even if there weren't APRs, if you had a chance, what you're saying is you would pass on a 4-point,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. Yep.
even before APRs.
Even before APRs. I was doing it before.
Yeah, you were doing that before.
Yep.
But yet, that guy over there sees that 4-point and he can't shoot it.
Right. That's not right. To me, it's not right.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, and you're wondering why you're losing people to hunt.
So, to me, I think, if we're going to do it that way, then you need to start staggering the price of that deer tag the same way you do if somebody shoots a big buck and you charge them so much per point.
Yeah.
Okay? So now, maybe he doesn't want to shoot a great, big, huge buck. He only wants to shoot a 4-point or a spike horn or whatever. Then he should be able to accordingly
Good
get
point.
in. If he's a new hunter, maybe he doesn't know how to go out and find a great big buck.
Yep.
And now he's got to buy that tag and spend X amount of years trying to learn how to find one before he ever gets to kill one because the state says he can't. Then he spends that many years doing it, and the first deer he pulls back on is this great. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It don't work that way.
Yep.
It don't.
Exactly. So, no, there's just a lot of new changes coming here in Michigan, and there another thing they were saying that they better have the rule books out before everybody goes hunting. You can't rely on this
No.
to look them up because where I'm at, I don't have phone service. That was brought up too
Yeah.
because that Chad Stewart says, "Oh, you can find everything online." Well, that's easier said than done if you got phone service.
That's right.
And then it got brought up, like last year. I don't think the rule, at least over by me, the rule books weren't out till damn near.
Yeah, they were late. They
Yeah.
were late.
And then the year before that, they blamed it on COVID, or the year before that.
Right.
I mean, you got to have the rule books out so a guy can take it with them and read it. But it's just, I don't know.
It's crazy to me how much the laws change year to year.
Yeah.
It's just constantly, dates are changing. You can use this. You can use your shotgun during muzzleloader. You can use a rifle during muzzleloader. It's overwhelming to
Yeah.
sit there and try to figure all that stuff out.
Yeah.
I just want to know on this day I can go hunting. After that day I can't. That's all I need to know. After that I'm good. I'm gonna go in there. I'll get a deer.
Yep. That's, But no, there's just too much. There's just too much.
Yeah.
There, I personally don't think a $1. I got pros and cons. $1. How many actually? Well, now that you have to register, how many actually are killing a second buck?
How many are registering?
That's true too.
I can tell you up here. I mean, I know guys.
No.
They got their own walk-in freezers and everything.
Yep.
They'll shoot that deer at 3 a.m. And it's going to go in that freezer, and you ain't even going to know it's there.
Yeah.
So calling them in, I kind of get it, but there's parts of me too that say it doesn't matter.
But I know guys that shot deer up north and waited till they got home to call and said, because they ask you what county, and
Yeah.
they said they shot it down home, and in all actuality they shot it up there.
Right.
You shouldn't have to. All you gotta do is say, "I shot a buck," blah 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 blah. It's done.
Yeah. The first year that came out, I filled it out. I'm going through the thing on my phone, and one of the questions was, it was like, where did you shoot the deer? And I just wrote on there, this is the state of Michigan, nobody's telling you that. That's all I said. I'm not telling you where I killed my deer at. I'm not. Those DNR hunters, they hunt too.
Mm-hmm.
And you start shooting some deer, and you ever go to a DNR officer and just say, hey, where's a good spot around here to try to get one? I've never been here. They'll tell you. They'll say, oh, these over here, there's a good concentration of deer. Where do you think they get that information from? One, driving around and talking to people. Two, you're telling them. You're telling them where you shot your deer at. They're going to get that. Somebody comes from out of town and asks. They're going to know. They're going to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they're getting a true accurate like they think they are. You know, because supposedly, like the buck I shot last year, my son took that and the deer he shot down home because I couldn't get it to the processor. I was on the road. He took it into the processor to get it done. They didn't even ask him for
Yeah, right.
any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't because I gave him because just to be safe, I gave him a letter with permission to take my deer, and he's got permission
Sure.
to bring my deer, whatever it said. And they didn't even ask for that. They didn't even look at the tag because they cut my antlers off, and the tag was still on it. They didn't even write that information down. They just wrote my name, and I thought they had to write all that down.
Yeah, the one. I like to cut my own deer up, but sometimes if it's hot,
Well, I had
I'll
no
bring it
choice.
in. Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't have an option, so I'll bring it in. When I brought mine in last year, they did ask for all that. They got the number off the tag and what county and all that stuff. They were asking me. So
Well, it's not
it
something-
probably just depends where you go.
yeah,
Maybe.
because they say the DNR comes in here and checks on them.
Yeah.
But like you said, how many people are actually calling in and reporting their deer?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't have a problem doing it, but I have a problem answering all the questions that they ask.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, I shot a deer. This is all you need to know.
So earlier we were talking a little bit off of this, but you were talking about the DNR officer up where you're at, and you know him. You
Yeah.
call him on the phone.
Yeah.
So if you remember, do me a favor, ask him about packing out a deer.
Okay.
I'm just curious what they'll say up there because I
Alright.
know they told me down here it's illegal. So
Yeah, what he's talking about is he asked the DNR if you get way back in and you shoot a deer here in Michigan about packing it out, leaving the carcass, and DNR told him it's against the law. So if any of you out there know anything about the Michigan law, put a comment down below and let us know. But supposedly you can't pack a deer out in the state of Michigan. You have to drag it out to wherever. However, Brian did ask, can I butcher it at my camp and throw the remains in the woods? And he said, yeah, that's no problem. But yet he couldn't butcher it.
couldn't butcher it in the woods.
Couldn't
Yeah.
butcher it in the woods. That don't make no sense. But I will ask him that.
Yeah, I'm curious what he'll say because I called and that's exactly what they told me. Is it is illegal? You have to bring the carcass out with you in the state
What
of
else
Michigan.
were we talking about earlier about a stupid law?
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Well, I know that,
There's a
but
bunch of them.
we were talking about something that didn't make sense that I didn't even know. And I didn't even know about butchering the deer because I never seen it in the rule books. Neither did you.
No, I never seen it.
No.
And I don't know why I called. I might have been watching a hunting show, and they said something about make sure you check your state regulations because some states it's not legal. So I did go through the book, and I couldn't find anything in that book. And then I called, and they said no, it's illegal in the state of Michigan. So
Wow. Yeah, so anybody knows anything different, let us know.
I was glad I called because I was going to make a video on it. I was going to send it out. They'd come knocking on my door.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll just, like I said, make sure you check Brian's channel out, Getting After It on YouTube. I got couple more reviews coming up, probably end of next week. And I'm hoping to get back out and check on that new view camera that I got out right now. I switched spots with it after I figured out, diagnosed what the problem was. I'm hoping to get some pictures and videos on that. But until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
And we'll get to hunting too.